was just another dusty record on the shelf. Would you blow me off and play me like everybody else? If I asked you to scratch my back, could you manage that?
Mr. Vanifak. All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Assembly. It is indeed that very week. It all begins. I hope that you enjoyed your last of everything that you had last of, and that you all feel. Staff, and you don't have to make me quite so much. You can take me down. You should all feel at this point, and if you don't, you should work on it today. You put me up too much. Take it down, take it down. Take it down. It's too loud, Mike. You should feel like you have got a bit of clarity in your life and your business. That you've got like your rooms under control, or your desks under control, or your finance under control. You should put these things to make sure that you can enjoy this week, so that the business side, we tried to push it all last week really heavy, is that you can feel like the business side of your life at ALA is wrapping up and is wrapped up. If it isn't, then I advise you to catch up because you're behind the schedule, because then otherwise you're going to miss out enjoying things because you're doing your business. So like put a big effort today or tomorrow to really get your business side finished so that you can enjoy the next few days. There's full-on programs. We're just going to go every single second of your life. We'll be having fun and forced to enjoy each other's company. Like we're going to do things all together all the time, and we're going to love them. That's what it is. And then we'll eject, and then next week you're like, what just happened? And that's what's going to happen. But I've really enjoyed, and thank you for your patience with the last 2 weeks and everybody who's worked together as a collective community to get where I hope we are today, with everybody feeling a little bit like, okay, I don't have so much other stuff to do, I can now start to enjoy. And welcome to some very special people we have today. We have the University of Notre Dame. There they are. And her family, thank you. I'm going to try and remember all the names, but I'm going to wave and say hey. Thank you for coming. Full-on family. We love families. And we have visitors from Luminous in Connecticut High School, who are at Seminole Reading still, I think. And we have the beginning of the parents who are going to keep rolling in. And we have Mommy and Daddy Rima. I'm sure there they are. And Mommy Maran. And I think that's all the parents so far, but they will start coming. And we want to be part of that whole existence of welcoming our parents. We have some new faculty. I can see a new faculty. I think he's a new intern. Am I right? Yeah. Yeah. You can wave. It's you. It is you. All right. Welcome and be part of our assembly. Without further ado, I will begin the process of rewarding, and we have a rewards. We have a sanctions policy. In the handbook, it's called Rewards and Sanctions. And I think we spent most of the 9 months working on the sanctions part. And then today, for a whole hour, we're going to work on the rewards part. So without further ado, first award, Chess Award. Luanda.
Good afternoon, Academy. Yes. My name is Luyanda Katenda from Zambia. Since first term, the chess club has been organizing ALA's chess tournament, and we successfully completed it last week. This year we had much more participants than last year. We had about 23 participants, which include both faculty and students. And I'd like to announce the second place first of all. Can we have a drum roll? Thank you. And the second place goes to Mr. Webster. And then the winner for this year's ALA chess tournament is none other than Mr. Diego. Thank you. Okay. I would also like to mention someone that was very committed in the tournament, that is Radiate, even though she was not so good. She managed to be very committed, and she ended up becoming joint third with Dario. So these were the third players. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Our next set of awards is presented from the security team, emergency response team. Mr. Peter van Niekerk.
Afternoon. Right, so our student emergency response team. Okay, we just want to take this opportunity to recognize them, and it's a difficult job that they've done. It's a very unpopular job to evacuate people when they don't want to be evacuated. You know, it was said to me once, there's nothing stronger than the heart of a volunteer, so I think they've definitely proven that one. So.
All right, so I'm going to quickly go through the names, and then if you may come forward to collect your certificate. Iman Asantua. Jean-Bad Boussisi. Ella. Francis. Jeffrey. Leander. OG. Otito. Rua. Sally. Salma. Sefedin. Well done, thank you. Sumaya. Takunda. Titilayo. Thank you.
And thank you very much. And now it is time for the unsung heroes of the month of June.
Good afternoon, Academy. I thought about presenting from there, but half of you wouldn't be able to see me. So, okay. On behalf of Mr. Veda and the team that's been working with him for the unsung leaders of the Academy, I'm here to present the awards for May and June, and these are the final ones for the 2014-2015 academic year. In collaboration with Duka Bora, as you know, they are sponsors, I'm happy to announce that once again, our unsung leaders will be receiving a 50 Rand voucher that they can spend at Duka Bora. So. Okay, as we've got a few technical problems, so I'll not be able to tell you who the special mentions were, but we'll be able to send an email around and let you know. Will you read them out, Mr. Pete? Okay, so I'll cue you. So don't say them first. Yep. Okay. Okay, so for our students, our special mentions are, cue.
Mudiwa Dutiro. Otman Fortbassi.
Thank you very much. So, as we had a few months ago, this time around for May and June, we do have two unsung student leaders, both of whom have had the highest number of nominations. We'll start with the female winner. This is what was said about her: for maintaining an exceptional work ethic and sharing her knowledge and ideas with her classmates. Again, for being genuine, showing gratitude, and just being an all-round MFC person. So for our guests, MFC means Model for Community, okay? Of the male winner, this was said: for embracing his ALA journey and taking advantage of every opportunity that has been offered to him. He has taken on new challenges over the 2 years and has used each opportunity to grow. Thank you for all the hours on the blanket. Thank you for opening up to our community. And for both of them, for turning their DSC, do something cool, into a full performance, for taking risks and following their hearts, the Aung student leaders for the month of May and June are Keith and Eunice.
Clubs. Clubs. Clubs.
For our guests, we're moving on to staffalty, and staffalty means staff and faculty. Special mentions are, Q,
Dave Tate. Gavin Peter. Suzanne Hunter. Veda Sunasi.
Thank you, Mr. Gavin Peter. Okay. So what was said of our winner, our final staffalty winner, unsung leader of this year? One student said, "You have done so much for us, it would do no justice to put it in words. Saying thank you seems a bit too vague to truly express my gratitude." Another student thanks this person for being consistently reliable and being great at his job. Our final unsung staffalty leader of the year is Mr. Paul Wilton. Thank you very much.
And now we welcome to a new set of awards. And for these awards, we would ask the people who will be giving out the awards, the staffalty, and you know who you are because you've signed the signatures, to come down and then present the awards. And if it's the department, could the whole department come down, and then we'll present all the department awards at once. So we'll go in groups like that. And I hand you over to your awards MC, Mr. Mopati Morocco.
Good afternoon, Academy. We're going to start by recognizing the clubs this year, right? You guys spend so much time, so many hours pursuing your passions and doing all this great work. And so we'd like to celebrate the leaders in the clubs. So we can, so the first club we'd like to commemorate is the chess club. And can the captain of the chess club, Luyando Katenda? Well done for your work. Congratulations to the chess club for playing chess. The rhythmically gifted African dance. Can the captains Alexia and Nana Ama come? Thank you for dancing a lingo. I don't know. The Design Club. Baba Tope Aiku, please come. Congratulations for all your work. And then can also the Coding and Robotics Club, led by Samuel, come up and be recognized. The Ubuntu Drama Club, who has something very exciting for us coming up this week. Eunice Mwabe, Soala and Kafa, please come and be recognized. The Alapella, the vocal Alapella, please come and, as Eunice, your student conductor, is recognized. And then the Speak Club, Shebet Kuntai. Thank you for all the work you do. And the Club of the Year is African Dance. Congratulations, Alexia, Nana, and all the African dancers for all of your talent, your work. Sports. All the sports teams. All the coaches, please come up. Mr. Mushi, Mr. Sibia, Ms. Lebo, Mr. Connor, all the coaches in the house, Mr. O. I'm already here. These were voted on by all the coaches, and we want to celebrate your athletic pursuits, your trials, your tribulations, your excellence. Spirit Award to the student who has excelled at creating team spirit and has motivated players to achieve excellence. First of all, we'd like to recognize, give an honorable mention to Andrew Ross and Tino Tenda, as well as Tino Tenda, the winner of this year's Spirit Award. Congratulations to Raisa Kanku. Well done. The Captain of the Year. There we go. Make it down the line. There we go. The Captain of the Year to the captain who has demonstrated excellent leadership in his or her sport. Honorable mentions to two strong captains, Samantha and Tobani. But the Captain of the Year, as voted on by our coaches, is Eve. All right, the Coach of the Year, to that coach who has demonstrated excellent leadership, excellent coaching in their sport. Honorable mention to our football coach, Desmond Mushi. And congratulations to Mr. Joseph Ekpenyong, head volleyball coach. Coach of the Year. The Team of the Year, to that team that has displayed excellent teamwork and showed great sportsmanship throughout the season. Honorable mention to the boys' football team. But the Team of the Year is the girls' football team. Can the captains Kende, Samantha. Well done, well done. Sportsman of the Year, to the male player who has played a vital role in the achievements of his team throughout the year. Honorable mentions, Tobani and Tomi. And the Sportsman of the Year, 2014-2015, the crowd knows it already, Jean-Bat Boussissi. Sportswoman of the Year, the female player who's played a vital role in the achievements of their team this year. Honorable mentions go to Rue and Samantha. And the Sportswoman of the Year is Flora. All right, thank you, coaches. Congratulations, Flora. And thank you for all the student athletes. Thank you to all the coaches, all the student athletes, the sports director, Mr. Sibia, for a great year in sports, and we hope next year will be better. Ms. Zofia, can I invite you to come up and recognize those students who have worked exceptionally well in self-leadership coaching? So Ms. Zofia and the SLC team. We'd like to recognize special mention to the following students for their work in the SLC program this year: Rasidatu, Rima, Sandile, and Chebet. And there are 2 students who deserve special recognition for their extraordinary effort in the program this year. And we'd like to congratulate 2 second years, Maryam Bashir and Najem. Come on down. Congratulations, guys. Can I have the creativity department as we move to the academic sphere and recognize your achievements and your grit, your perseverance, and your output in the scholarly realm. So the creativity department, come on down. And we're going to recognize the Year 1 Creative Thinking Award. And this award goes to Haitham. And for the second year creativity research students, there are 2 students who excelled just in their creative thought and the quality of their production. So congratulations to Mariam Dieng and Amin Abdullahi. Thank you, Creativity Department. Team African Studies.
Before you, I slipped in one here. Sorry, Mr. Mabati. We didn't ever congratulate her for her hard work, exceptional work in the library. But our head librarian for this year did a really amazing job, and that's Barandile Motsa.
Congratulations, Barandile. Can I have the African Studies team make their way to the front as we recognize the Africanists among us? The Year 1, what we call the Graça Machel Young African Scholar Award. This is for the Year 1 student who's demonstrated great improvement and commitment to their work to understand the continent and its problems, for engaging with the history and current affairs of Africa with a diligence and passion above and beyond academic achievement. The 2014-15 Graça Machel Young African Scholar Award goes to Yuma Hadan. Congratulations, Yuma. For living each day with an energy and commitment to the cause of understanding and celebrating Africa, for embracing every opportunity to engage with new African cultures and to record their meaning and impact, for carrying a love for Africa and its realities through all their daily activities. The Patrice Lumumba Young Africanist Award goes to Gigi Ngobo. Well done, Gigi. For a proven commitment, proven excellence in the study of Africa, its history, its current condition, culture, problems, and future. For engaging with the subject matter inside and outside the classroom to the benefit of their classmates, the Francis Deng Young African Thinker of the Award goes to Redate. Congratulations. Second years. To the second year, for asking as many questions as need to be asked and seeking out answers in every place possible. For a thirst in learning about Africa, her future, and the history that goes beyond the classroom. For an eager energy and excitability, the kind the continent calls for. The Sheikh Anta Diop Emerging Thinker Award goes to Andrew Ross. For continued excellence in their academic work, investigating the continent and its problems, for a commitment to solutions built on historical understanding and critical analysis of the present, for lucid argument and reasoned analysis of the kind that the continent most needs, the Ali Mazrui Emerging Scholar Award goes to Simone Ige. And finally, from the Humanities Research crowd, the Mariam Abba Award for Excellence in Humanities Research goes to Mariam Bashir. Geography. For AS Geography, for resilience and perseverance in showing consistent improvement, congratulations to Naira Abdullah. And for A2 Geography, for working consistently to improve every day and every class, congratulations to Ukiro Ukiro. Mr. Kangami, thank you.
He's here.
Okay. I see. AS Economics, we celebrate the accomplishments and recognize the excellent work of Sumaya Zudag. For A-level economics, the Excellence Award goes to Imaobong Nelson. And for the Year 2 AS Economics class, we want to celebrate Deborah Paul Mulokozi for her outstanding work. And for excellence in business studies, our librarian extraordinaire, Balindile Motsa. History, the most improved first-year student in the pursuit of historical understanding, historical knowledge, is Kita Abdullah. And the Year 1 Excellence Award in AS History goes to Temi Layo. A-level History. This student has improved tremendously over her 2 years. Congratulations to Asantewa. And overall excellence in Year 2 A-level History, International History. Congratulations, Nana Ama. Congratulations. Thank you, African Studies, Social Sciences, Humanities. May we have Writing and Rhetoric and the Languages. French. We're going to start with beginner French for her hard work inside and outside the classroom, constantly committed to learning the language. Congratulations to Gigi Ngobo. In intermediate French for her hard work and enthusiasm throughout the year, Asantewa. Congratulations. And A-level French for her hard work and attainment in this subject. Congratulations, or félicitations, Haifa Ashur. Year 1 Literature. For excellence in her literary studies, congratulations to Adeze Ike. Congratulations, Adeze. And Year 2 Literature. Overall excellence in Year 2 A-level literature. Congratulations to Eunice Mwabe. Cool. In W&R, the Binyavanga Wanaina Emerging Writer Award for the Year 1 student who has improved the most over the course of this year. Congratulations to Hassan Meite. All right, somebody will accept the award on Hassan's behalf. The Atoll Fugard Excellence in Writing Award for the Year 1 student who has consistently produced outstanding and compelling writing throughout the year. Congratulations, Tapelo Sibolai. The Teju Cole Emerging Writer Award for the Year 2 student who has improved the most over the course of their year. Congratulations to Rasidatu Konate. And finally from W&R, the Chimamanda Adichie Excellence in Writing Award. For the Year 2 student who has consistently produced outstanding and compelling writing throughout the year, well done to Eunice Mwabe. All right, thank you, Team W&R. Thank you, Languages. Mathematics, to the stage. All right. Lots of people to celebrate here, lots of young African mathematicians. Starting with IGCSE Mathematics, an honorable mention for the performances of Mary Brenda and Arlene for their work. But the excellence in IGCSE Mathematics goes to Naira Abdullah. Come on down. Well done, Naira. Oh, what a moment. That's a Kodak moment. Advanced Subsidiary Mathematics. Honorable mentions to Raphael Owino and Andrew Ross. But the excellence in AS Math goes to Manhal Burada. Well done. A-level Mathematics. Honorable mentions to Nkanyiso, Mariam, and Zviko. But statistically, there was no difference between the following winners. And so the math department must recognize 3 students for excellence. Congratulations to Deborah, Leila, and Sira for excellence in A-level mathematics. Accelerated mathematics, those who just couldn't wait. Honorable mentions to these students for their performance. Alphonse, Abdulaziz, Sumaya, and Edison, well done for your work. But the excellence in accelerated mathematics goes to Doha Morshid. Congratulations, Doha. We had accelerated and now we have further mathematics. I wonder what the next level is, like out out there, man. Further mathematics, honorable mentions to Samuel and Utman. But excellence in this otherworldly mathematics. Congratulations to two people, Saifuddin Saraj and Lina Sadea. Saif and Lina. Well done, well done. And thank you, mathematics department. Thank you, all the students. Can I have the science team? Come on down. And we're going to start with the chemistry award. For his diligence, consistency, and excellence in chemistry, the Year 1 prize, I'm going to slow down for dramatic effect, / until the science department is here. The Year 1 prize goes to Ebenezer Dara. Congratulations. For consistently striving for excellence in Year 2 chemistry, this award goes to Jvikomborero Machikiti. Physics, for just their improvement, their diligence, their conscientious effort throughout the year. Honorable mention to Brian and Sisipo. And congratulations to Liston Cosmos. Overall excellence in physics. Special mention to Porai and Manhal and Tapelo. The Year 1 Excellence in Physics Award goes to Tinashe Handila. How do you know classified? Year 2 Improvement and Effort. Special mention to Sowala, Busisi, Abraham Marte, Nkanyiso, and Tobani. Again, for diligence, hard work, improvement, and effort, congratulations to Chebet Kuntai. For excellence in physics, special mention to Eve, Bataung, Tinotenda, and Jviko. But the Physics Excellence Award, A-Level Physics Excellence Award, goes to Saifuddin Saraj. Congratulations, Saif. Biology. Curiosity in biology. Honorable mention to Titilayo, Amaryllis, and Raisa. But the most curious life scientist of them all is none other than Mary Brenda Akoda. Excellence in AS biology. Special mention to Ebenezer and Redate. But congratulations to Mary Brenda and Titi Layo. A-level biology. For curiosity, honorable mention to Sally, Wansoon, and Rasidatu. And the Curiosity Award goes to Deborah. excellence in A-level biology. Special mention, once again, to Sally, Amin Abdullahi, and Bubelo. But there are 2 winners, and the winners are, once again, Deborah and Queen. Finally, scientific research. 2 special mentions for outstanding scholarly work and presentations at the end of the year. Congratulations to Wycliffe and Rasidatu.
Thank you.
Oh, I've just realized, Mr. Veda is Skyping in there. If you want to just wave to him on your way there. Hi, Mr. Veda. And that concludes the award session. Thank you, Science Department. Who's next? I'd like to hand over to Dean Uzo for the annual Dean's Award.
Good afternoon, Academy. It's so good to see all of you. So, the Dean's Awards. I'm absolutely delighted to have the opportunity to give some really special people who have affected my life, and I think they've affected everybody here in our community. I have 5 awards books to give, that are books that I've read, and I hope that they will enjoy too. The first awards are for 2 young people who I had the pleasure to work with as student chairs, and I want to thank them in particular for their outstanding leadership abilities and for holding me accountable in my office every week that they came. Please join me to thank Miss Letty and Mr. Othman. To another young lady who I think has been kind of the biggest supporter for most of Staffordshire and possibly to the students. Very hidden gem who kind of, exudes confidence and is always with a smile on her face. I wanted to recognize her in particular for all that she has done in terms of her campus, being a campus ambassador, and for the very many people that she has led on various campus visits. And that person is one and only Miss Valerie. To another lady who, when I heard that she came into ALA without speaking a word of English, and to hear her at the Scientific Leadership Symposium speak and present on art therapy for cancer patients brought tears to my eyes. My 4th book award goes to Rasidatu. My final my final book award goes to a special young man who I think is an exemplar MFC student and who holds me accountable as to be exceptional leader. I think he is humble. I think he gets himself into anything he can. I am his biggest Cloud9 fan. And my final book award goes to Tino.
Thank you, Dean
Thank you.
Uzo. And congratulations to all the people who won all the awards. It was not easy choices for a lot of the teachers, and I had beat them down. They wanted to give more. You can always want to give more. And now the third term, as I said, is about celebration, but it's also about closure. And we will take this moment, the next bit of the time of the assembly, to get closure and say goodbye to some of our faculty who will be leaving us at the end of this term. First up, I'll ask Mr. Majumpo to introduce our first teacher.
Who turned the mic off? So a few people to say goodbye to. As we've said often, I think that this is an amazing learning community. And both those who continue here and those who sort of check out at some stage, I think we all acknowledge that we go away with some real value. And the other thing is that it's a really, really close community. For most schools I've been to, you have upwards of 1,000 people. The secondary school I went to had close to 2,000 people. It's very, very difficult to connect to everybody. This is a very small family, and everybody sort of connects very strongly to the other person. So when people are leaving, I think it's also particularly painful, impacting, and it's also a really, really good opportunity to just say thank you and kudos, because I think there is not a single member of this community who doesn't make an impact, create an impact on one person or the other. And that's the unique nature of the community. So the first person, and a couple of people will be coming up to just introduce the people who are leaving because they cut across the scaffold to the department. But the first person would be, again, a very remarkable person, I think, because she's not actually phased fully into the community, not a full-time member of the academy, but she's done an amazing job with her class. And the fact that she's just spent 2 years here and yet so embodies our aspirations and the sort of things we want to do here at the academy, it's really, really real. We would want to commend her deeply for this. And this is Miss Pauline Ango. So Miss Pauline is not actually leaving us for good. She's taking on, Miss Pauline, yes. She's taking on a new challenge, but will be back here after a year. So we're not getting rid of her yet, but there we go.
I'm really sorry. I'm a French teacher, so I will just try to speak in French. Okay. En fait, je ne suis vraiment pas en train de partir. Je vais juste prendre une année sabbatique pour terminer mes études parce que définitivement, je n'arrivais pas à pouvoir lier ma vie familiale, le travail et puis mes études. Je vais prendre juste une année pour terminer mes études et revenir probablement l'année prochaine. Ce que je voudrais dire, c'est, je voudrais d'abord remercier ma première classe de français qui m'a accueilli avec beaucoup d'amour. Les débuts ont été assez difficiles, vraiment difficiles pour moi, mais par la fin, j'ai eu des étudiants super qui m'ont tenu jusqu'à la fin d'année. Et le staff que je voudrais remercier, je voudrais dire merci à Tania, qui a été mon support, qui a été là pour moi, qui a été celle qui était celle qui m'a soutenue pendant longtemps. Je ne manquerai pas de dire merci aussi à, Tania et moi nous l'appelons Michel, à Michael. Michael a toujours été là pour nous, toujours. Il a toujours été disponible, il a toujours eu l'oreille pour m'écouter. Et je terminerai aussi en disant merci à ma seconde classe que j'ai eue cette année. J'ai été vraiment très contente de travailler avec mes étudiants, surtout les filles. Elles ont été tout pour moi. Alors, une fois de plus, je vous dis merci et je ne manquerai pas de venir au graduation de ma première classe de français. Ok, merci à vous.
Merci, madame. Et à bientôt. The second person would like to say farewell to. I'd want to call Mr. O. Mr. O, please come to the stage. No, he's not leaving, sorry. He's just coming. All right, we'll get on anyhow. I'd just like to mention a few things about this young man. And you can see we're struggling to determine who should say farewell to him. I think that he's impacted on several levels, in departments, in rest life, he's been amazing. I think in his department, he has been awesome as well. A very young person, aspiring and growing, and yet he has so much value. And actually, it's really, really difficult to see Mr. Peter Retrosky leaving us. Peter, can you please come to the mic?
I actually think this is the first time I've been standing here, in that year. And it's towards the very end. As they say, better late than never. And I will be speaking in English. Because my Slovak would not probably carry that impact with it. And so 1 year, wow. As one of my officers would say, this proves that Einstein was right. Time is relative. What seemed like a long journey, like forever, 12 months ago, now seems like a wink of an eye. Just came and went. And almost nothing is left. Almost. Except for several important things. What's left are amazing memories of awesome people. What's left is a person forever changed, with a sincere hope that he has been able to at least a tiny bit contribute to the journey of at least one fellow human being. But to start at the beginning, a year ago, I was like the famous Jon Snow. I knew nothing. almost nothing. I knew that I was coming to a place where I would meet amazing people that I could not meet anywhere else in the world. And that much has been true. Other than that, I really knew nothing. I still remember our first EL retreat, with Mr. Tate looking at me. By the way, at that time, I was still going by Mr. P, which proved to be a dangerous choice. I changed it later. And so I was telling Mr. Tate about all the things I want to do in these 12 months. All the great things, all the commitments that I want to do the best. And he looked at me. Those of you who know Mr. Tate, you know how he looked at me. He pulled off that DT smile. I would liken it to a father looking at a foolish child. And he said, things are gonna go crazy. And they did. They did. The year at ALA has been the craziest year of my life. Teaching, curriculum work, being a hall monster to my officers, being an advisory father to my Ubunye, leading SDG, coordinating computer studies, mentoring the Coding and Robotics Club. These things did not leave much time for idleness. And looking back, there are many things I would have done differently. I stand humbled and amazed by the level of skill, commitment, and leadership everyone around me has exhibited, bringing one question to my mind: what have I been doing with my youth? And I stand grateful for all the learning I had a chance to take in, as well as for the grace that others have shown me towards my shortcomings and flaws and mistakes that I've committed. And it's my hope that I'll be able to pass this learning and this kindness on to others. I'm also grateful for all the courage people around me have shown throughout this year to challenge their stereotypes and keep an open mind. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's a sign of true leadership. The experiences are many. From cooking Slovak breakfast with my officers, eating amazing Ethiopian food, for the first time in my life, by the way, having deep discussions at 2 a.m. in the morning, giving first aid to more people I could ever imagine, fixing 12 chargers, 9 pairs of glasses, some of them repeatedly, coaching, challenging, having fun, swimming at Durban with ear-twos, fighting in the mud, dressing up for Gaga Day, cooking some more, buying eggs, eating Indomie, eating chapati, eating scorched eggs, almost breaking down under the weight of commitments, yet finding the strength to somehow pull through. Finally, I am thankful for many things at ALA, but of course it is the people that stand out. I'm grateful to the EL department, to Mr. Adler, Mr. O, Ms. Kraft, Ms. Lebo, Mr. Tate, Mr. Veda, Auntie Mels, Mr. Connor. To my duty buddies, Madame G and Ms. Mandisa. To all RESFAC. I'm grateful to all staff faculty for creating such a great space and environment where I've been allowed to spend an entire year. I'm grateful to my EL classes. You guys have brought sweat to my brow and smile to my face. You all know who I'm talking about. I would like to give a special shout out to my dream team, whose pictures will be forever on the wall of F7. Sincere thanks to Mr. Squash and Mr. Hammer for keeping me sane. Thank you to SDG for creating a highlight for my Thursday evenings and a platform for discussions about topics that are both dear and important to me. Thank you to Rama and Okongo for leading them. Thank you to my computer studies student leads, Othman, Sami, Sumaya, and Raf, whose hard work made the year seem almost seamless. And last but definitely not least, to my Ubunye family and my officers. You guys have taught me the value of a family, of helping each other, of supporting and standing next to each other. I've been privileged to be not only Mr. Pete, but also your Baba, Father Pete, Daddy, Papa Office, Piero. And you guys have been my reason for making it through the toughest of times. You've given me a sense of purpose and a conviction that wherever I appear in your country, I'll have a place to stay, and more importantly, something to eat. You have definitely a place to stay in my country and a place forever in my heart. And no, I will not give you the pleasure of seeing me cry at graduation. because ALA is exactly like EL. It's never over. And so I'm standing here 12 months later. They've been crazy, yes, Mr. Tate. They've been hard, they've been frustrating, they've been beautiful, they've been amazing, and they've been unforgettable. So goodbye, ALA. Thank you for the best year of my life. And to quote one crazy Austrian, I'll be back. Thank you, guys.
Is Mr. Penn around?
Good afternoon, Academy. Farewells are always difficult, but we have to say farewell to certain special people. So I stand here to say farewell to somebody I've known for the past 2 years or more. Initially, he was in the admissions department before moving into IT. We have really had some really fun times working together. We have grown together, learned a lot, and made some really, really great memories together. This guy is a really funny guy for some of you who know him. He says some really, really amazing things sometimes. Last week, he said something really funny which I would like to share with you. He actually called his exit interview exit strategy. So I would like to call on my colleague, my friend, and my brother, Claude Kimo, to come and talk to you.
Hi, Academy. I was feeling cold, but I suddenly felt very hot and I'm sweating inside. So I even have to remove my jacket. I don't know why they called this last assembly farewell assembly. I don't believe that for whoever love Africa, have a passion for Africa, will come across LA, the vision and mission of LA, and believe to never meet again with any one of you in this room. I don't believe so. So for me, I'm sure it's not a farewell. It's a see you later, because we may go apart to different things, but I'm pretty sure in the future, maybe if I want to invest in Egypt, I will find one of you Egyptian, maybe a senator who understand the same vision that we're sharing right now about Africa, and who can sustain it too. Or again, in Lesotho, I can find one of the students who actually cross path with me here, who push me in different way. What is funny, it's we always think that it's only staff and faculty who impact student, but you'll be surprised our students have also impacted myself and my life. I remember my time in the admission department, working in the first interview with Mrs. Inacho, and the headmaster conference. One of the headmaster have asked Mr. Fred just a simple question like, what's the recipe behind LA? What make LA so great? And I don't know if I can quote it right, but Fred's answer was like, you know, it's just the people and the curriculum, because it doesn't matter how the place look like, if it's fancy, you know, very built. As long as the people are great, the place is great, you can give a class under a tree and still get a good result. So what I believe, it's when I've crossed through LA, what will always strike my mind, it's not the place, but the people within. It's the people within who make a place look great. And I will say thanks. You know, I can't name names because almost all of you have impacted my life, and Sam knows that I'm very bad with names. So it will be very hard for me to remember, but the faces that I will never forget, that for sure. And I have to check, I forgot the pronunciation, and it's in my phone in the jacket. Oh, sorry. So I know Ghanaian people will correct me. You don't say bye-bye, but you say see you later, and that will be? Okay, thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Claude. Very inspiring words around connecting all over the continent. I hope to see you in Ghana sometime. You're a very special person here at the academy when you teach physics. I think it's a challenging subject, and a good number of people do talk about it, and some would not even want to sit in a physics class. And the ability to take on that subject and make it accessible to students and make students love it itself should be an art. This afternoon, we would want to say farewell. Of course, they say see you later, not goodbye entirely, to our one and only physics teacher at the academy, Mr. Theo Otieno.
Good morning, Academy. I decided I'm not very good at giving speeches of whatever kind. So I thought if I didn't write anything down, then I would be giving my story kind of thing, and that for me doesn't make sense. So I decided to just, write a few things here. And it's just that much, so it's not much really. So I would start by saying Dumelang, Sanbonani, Lekai, Magadi, Hamjambo, Osaore Uruduto. Firstly, I always like to thank people, and this is very true. This is me thanking people. I want to thank the ALA community, all of you guys who are sitting here, those who have gone. You've been a great impact on my life. I think I've learned quite a lot of things that I'm not going to say today. Special thanks goes to CJB. I met this young man in Nairobi, and on that particular day I was wearing a very expensive suit. And So we talk on phone. No, we weren't talking. We were actually sending SMSs or something like that. And this guy tells me, "Come to Java, Koinange Street, and you'll find some guy wearing an ALA T-shirt." And then I was like, "So how am I going to know an ALA T-shirt looks like?" And for whatever reason, he was in the wrong place. So he checks again and found, no, I'm actually at this place. So when he describes it, I decide to walk. So I get to that place, and I'm looking for an ALA T-shirt, and I can't really tell what an ALA T-shirt looks like. But finally, I see somebody sitting down with some students, and that was the beginning of my journey to ALA. I will never forget that day. CJB has given me an opportunity to come and live a life with young, crazy people, and I will not forget that till the day I die. And that's not very soon. I've met crazy students, people like now Brian, the guy who does the assembly, you know that one. And there's some very interesting characters, but I don't want to mention names right now. Maybe if I see them, I'll probably talk about that. I also want to believe that you have met a crazy person in me. If you haven't, too bad, that's how life goes. And so that's really what it is. Now, I don't want to talk too much, so I'll just go to some of the things that I've learned in my life, here in ALA and in my life generally, okay? So one thing I've learned in life, and I've done this also, is that it's very easy to point fingers at people. And we hardly really think about ourselves on the other end of our hands. And so I purposely decide that I do not point fingers at anyone. If I find something not right with a particular individual, I tend to talk, and maybe in the process I hurt a lot of feelings, but that's just me. And so one of the values of ALA is integrity. And as long as we keep that on the wall and we don't put it to our hearts, it will be very difficult for us to make an impact in the African society. It will remain a writing, and just how far it will go. Sorry, that's a reminder that I should be picking my son from school. Yeah, I always forget to pick him up and he gets very cross. Point number next. The one thing that I've also learned in my life is that regrets don't change anything. The only thing that changes anything is choice. So I want to encourage all of us here in this room today to live differently. And if you like, live after the heart of God. If you kneel before God, you will stand before great men and women. My next point that I just want, these are just object lessons that I've seen in my life, and they're real and they're true. If you stand for a reason, be prepared to stand alone like a tree. If you fall on the ground, fall like a seed that grows to fight another day. And lastly, and very, very important also, sometimes as you live your life, you discover new things come to your mind, and this came to my mind, I think, about 2 weeks ago. And it told me that blood is thicker than diversity, especially the blood of Jesus Christ, who is my Lord and Savior, that actually unites all of us regardless of where we come from, whether you're Jew, Christian, Hindu, name it. We are all one in Christ. And I want to tell the same to you, and I hope that you guys will have a very wonderful life. I will be around for a long time. Okay? So enjoy your life, and please bless others as you interact with them, and be good to people that you meet anywhere, anytime. May God bless you.
From Mr. Otieno. As a matter of fact, when he started his speech, I thought, oh, this sounds pretty much like our president here. When he starts his speech, he slowly goes greeting in various dialects. That really reminded me of President Zuma. Hopefully he's your role model. But thank you, Mr. Otieno. And I think it's worth also remembering that Mr. Otieno actually brought the president's award program here to campus, and that's something we should not forget. And thank you so much for that. So this other person we are going to hear it's interesting. She wasn't actually hired to come to ALA. She came here as an accompanying spouse. Started work here. When she got here, she was sort of co-opted to look into then the English language curriculum because we didn't think it was as relevant as we would want it to be, the Cambridge English curriculum. And we had tried tweaking things around a couple of times, and we're still not satisfied. So while she hung around here, we thought, well, you come in and take a look at what we have here and see whether with your expertise you could help shape things up a bit. So she came in, sort of take children to school, come take a look at things, part-time kind of situation. But that's the interesting thing, because in the end, I think after 3 years, from where I sit, Miss D has so impacted the curriculum of ALA and teaching and learning that I go back and say, okay, this lady started as a part-time teacher. It looks very funny to me. I think that she's done an amazing job. One thing I like about Miss D is her nurturing coaching approach. She's impacted so many faculty with experience she had. And her leadership of the writing and rhetoric team itself, I think, was amazing. So the way she leads, the way she impacts, and the way she imparts skill, I think I've learned a lot from her. The other thing is that in terms of faculty PD, she did an amazing job, and much of what we have as a PD program, she helped develop as well. I think only posterity will be able to evaluate how much of an impact Ms. D has had in her 3 short years here at the Academy. Accompanying spouse, can you please come up? That's the other factor, yes.
So that I wouldn't forget to pick her up from school, I brought her with me. So I have this poster in my classroom, or I had, that says, "Speak your mind even if your voice shakes." My voice might shake, hopefully it doesn't too much. Zoe has told me not to get all melty up here. So when it comes to goodbyes, I sort of feel about goodbyes what some of my students feel about a writing and rhetoric assignment. I'm a little bit reluctant. My style is a little bit more of the Irish exit, which, if you were here for Ms. McKee's presentation last year, is all about climb under the table, sneak out the back door, do a little wave on your way out. But I know that just as I know that a writing and rhetoric assignment is more meaningful, I know that a good goodbye is meaningful as well. So in thinking about a goodbye, I wanted to share something that we make the year twos do, which is a This I Believe essay. But don't panic, I'm not going to read a full essay. I'm just going to share one thing that I believe, which is this. I believe that stories are how we make meaning of the human experience. I believe that stories are the tools for understanding and empathy. I believe that stories are how we bridge differences, and I believe that everyone in this room has a meaningful story, and that every voice matters. So, in thinking about that, I feel so fortunate that I have been a part of the ALA story. I wasn't sure on our first night in the Jacaranda room whether we were going to actually make it, but fortunately we have, and this has been one of the most important chapters in my journey. So that's what I believe. But here's what I know. I know that I came to ALA to teach, and instead, I was taught. I was taught by the people in this room. I was taught by the people who've sat in these seats before you. And what I was taught, I've been taught many things, but most importantly, I've been taught how to be a better version of myself. And so I want to thank all of you for allowing me to be a part of your story, for allowing Shay and Zoe to be a part of your story, and for allowing us to be a tiny part of your story. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. D. All right, so it must have been the first week in which he got here, either the first or the second week. But I sort of got a sense of the action-orientedness of this this person. If I remember, it was really in the first week. He had just arrived and was barely settling, and he started organizing a whole big deal around. It must have been there was a major soccer competition, and suddenly this new staff member was the center of everybody. Was going to, so he was coordinating tickets, he was coordinating transport. Basically, had taken over the whole thing. And I said, oh, wow, this is an amazing person. I think in short, this has been Mr. Chinny's approach and Mr. Chinny's sort of attitude over here. Action-oriented, very restless. He changes a lot of things. When he came in and took over the college counseling department, I think he immediately started making impact, taking a look at the way the whole process happened. The number of things he changed quickly. One thing is that we pushed a lot towards our early decisions and then stratified the application process in ways that we had not as yet done. The many things, and the people who work with him at various levels, so college counseling departments, SMT, deans, I think it's all just action and action and action, all the time. And one thing I like about Mr. Chinny is his approach to problem solving and the way he thinks through issues and problems. And when you sit in meetings, the suggestions he makes are just sort of, you wonder, oh goodness, of course, this sounds simple, but why didn't I think of this? I think he has been an amazing addition to the dean's team. Mr. Chinny is also very nurturing, like Ms. D. I think there are a good number of people that he literally drew under his wings and developed. And one thing that I found interesting is his team members. You would always hear of his team members when he came to Dean's meetings. In other words, he was always pushing the interest, and it was amazing. You would hear of the things Mr. T does. You hear of the things TD does. You hear of the things their team members do in their department. And so a way of sort of pushing his people forward. And I think personally, I've learned a lot from Mr. Chinny. I never played along with him in the Galloping Peacocks team. I know. But how about that? That's a suggestion. We could. No, that's just joking, all right. But Mr. Chinny, thank you very much for 3 very memorable years you've brought to the academy. And it had to be Miss O correcting me. Mr. Cheney.
Thank you, everyone. First, I want to start by thanking Mr. Japo. His words are too kind. I think many of the things that he talked about are things that were done by the people that I worked with and not necessarily by me. Secondly, I've been in schools since I was 5 years old. It's literally the only thing I've done. I've either gone to school or worked in schools. It is literally my life. And there is no place like this in the world. One of the things I've learned being in schools and being at different schools is that we're all replaceable. In a few short weeks, I will be replaced by a junior university counselor of some sort whose biggest challenge will be wearing clogs and filling my shoes. But what can't be replaced, for me, is the experience that I've had here for 3 years. It has been absolutely amazing. The people that I've worked with, the students, the faculty, the staffalty, it has been a truly remarkable experience that has helped me to shape who I am as an educator. I've gained more in 3 years from you than I have in the other 20 plus years I've spent in education. So thank you. Second, I always wanted to do a talk with football in it. And some of you may have seen recently, there have been some posts about the last 3 games for Messi and the last 3 games for Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo had 3 hat tricks in his last 3 games. Messi won 3 championships.
Interesting.
And what I realized, it's why I always enjoyed coaching. Because to win a championship, it's bigger than any one person. And I think this is the first school where I found that. Transforming Africa is bigger than any one of us. And you've helped me to see that, and I hope that I can bring that to Central Europe next year. Because this place has inspired me to do bigger things. So thank you for that. Finally, as Lisa said, none of that really matters if your kids aren't happy. And so I want to thank all of you, all the aunties and uncles and big brothers and big sisters, for letting Shane Zoe be a part of this experience, because had they not been happy and embraced by this community, we would have gone home. Because as a parent, there's nothing, your job is your job. Your kids are family, and that's the most important thing. And so for all of you who have helped and watched my kids grow up over these past couple years, thank you. It has been an amazing 3 years. I look forward to joining Mr. Pete in Slovakia and advancing the African mission in the EU. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cheney. Ms. Shami?
Good afternoon, Academy. Actually, I should rather say, Chale Hao. It's been my privilege working alongside Theo Sutherland over these past 3 years at ALA, in which he has grown into a remarkable colleague and manager. Theo's early days at ALA were as an external relations fellow, and for those of you who don't remember, it was called ER, emergency room, at the time. He gallantly stewarded the guest speaker series program, Campus Visits and External Opportunities. Theo and I were the only members of the notorious department, and despite the initial chaos and skirmishes with other departments, you know who you are, Theo quickly managed to set up a standard of excellence that serves us to this day and that we try and live up to even now. Theo was also a colleague who vicariously experienced both my pregnancies, and both times allowed me to return to a department that was even more smoothly functioning and efficient than the one left behind. Thank you. In particular, my sons, Biko and Tutu, thank you, for allowing their mother to have some peace of mind for a few months. But above all, it is for Theo's commendable work as ACN manager that I'd like to give a shout out. This is work that many of you do not often see and experience here while on campus, but it really lasts and is felt long after you leave ALA. Theo has built an extraordinary rapport with his West African students and graduates, and with a firm, everyone knows his tough calls, with a firm but kind hand has encouraged them to up their game. The West African cohort represents the most highly engaged, there's no challenge here to the other regions, the most highly engaged cohort, ranging from attending the Indabas, applying to internships, and giving back to ALA through their time. Theo has inspired a culture of giving back to ALA that will hopefully last long after his time here. And finally, Theo's crowning glory of achievement has also been refining the programming of ALA's Indabas. Hopefully many of you will attend them. And for moving all Indabas to a beachfront location. So as you sip your bisap or coconut water or look at the waves in either Mombasa, Dakar, or Durban, you have Theo to thank. Chale, I've learned a lot from you as a colleague and as a friend. So thank you for your valuable work and friendship. I'm sad to see you go, but I know we will all watch this space eagerly to see you expand your footprint on the African continent. Thank you.
Charlie.
Good afternoon, Academy. As Ms. Shami mentioned, it's been an awesome 3 years at the Academy. I've learned a lot, and in reflecting on what I'd like my parting words to be, I thought I'd share a story about giants. Isaac Newton famously said, "If I've seen further than any others, it's because I stood on the shoulder of giants." The phrase has become adulterated to the cliche we now know today as, if I've been successful, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants. Now, like many cliches, there's always a truism. There's always something true underneath, although we like to flick it off. And I was thinking that this is actually quite a profound one. Because if you're like me, this is probably the first time you've actually took a moment to think about what's the mechanics of climbing onto a giant and then standing on him or her. And it's really interesting. I think, and I was thinking about it, the first pictures that came to mind is you can climb on the back, you can like try and find like Rapunzel type hair, all kinds of crazy things. If the person is as put together and slick as Mr. Gavin Peter, as a giant, you have this Vaseline skin, and you're going to keep slipping and falling right back to the ground. And if the impact of slipping and falling doesn't kill you, the realization that you're actually a Sisyphus will probably kill you. Seminar reading shout out. Sorry. Today, I stand on the shoulders of giants because I find giants who are willing to kneel. Giants who have no real reason to kneel, but really coming out of a place of selflessness to lift up a smaller being. I'd like to acknowledge the incredible contribution of kneeling giants in my life, the people who have gone out of their way to be selfless, to lend me their confidence when I haven't felt like I was enough, for walking with me, on this exciting journey from success to significance. Back to Mr. Swanepoel. And I've benefited immensely from the giants who've lifted me up. Today, I'd like to say thank you. My parting wish for the community is that you too will find and acknowledge the kneeling giants in your life. The last few days coming up until Friday when we all part, please take the time to say a thank you to someone, and more importantly, as you leave the academy and become the leaders that we hope you will be in transforming Africa, that you also will be a kneeling giant for someone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thiel. So just a couple more people to go. I'm just thinking of what I should say about this young person. If I was asked to describe the person, or 3 words that just capture the way the person is, just top 3 words, I would say passionate, passionate, passionate. So this lady started as an electrical engineer. And when she came to LA, was it 5 years back, I thought she was just going to breeze through and then go back to industry. But I think she's very, very passionate about education as well. Passionate about young people, passionate about teaching mathematics. I've thought of the times when Miss O sort of just crashed into my office so angry at one student because maybe she's late or she's not submitted the assignment, or just basically not living up to standard. She is so passionate about excellence as well. I think that Miss O has raised the level of math, and especially teaching mechanics, to a new standard. Done an amazing job with her students. I know her students love her, even if she raps them on the head. And personally, I think that it will be I really will miss Miss O. She has been like a young sister to me, and has done a great job with a whole lot of things. One of the things that I really remember her for is her tutoring program. She actually started this whole tutoring program and, again, passionately raised it to the level where it is. I think at some point she played basketball. Did she? No. Okay, probably is a roomie. But there's plenty that she has done. And I'll just like to invite Ms. O to the podium, no, just down there, to just share her words. But I'd like to say this. I think one of the speakers said it. It's very difficult. I think that there are lots of things that you can replace and you can replicate, especially her little, at some point, remember that she was even baking and selling. She was baking, was it muffins or things? You can always replicate those, but you can never replicate the person who is going out. And for every one of the people who have stood here, I think that is really, really the reason why we're taking all this time to say thank you and to say farewell. So, Ms. O.
Okay, Ms. Robin, we have a deal that I cannot cry, so we're hoping. All right, I had to write something down, otherwise I would start blubbering. Great. On August 19th, 2010, as I sat on the plane heading to South Africa, I began crying the type of ugly tears that I may or may not cry in a few seconds. I was crying because I was leaving all that had been familiar to me for 8 years. I was leaving dear friends and family to move to South Africa where I knew no one. No.
That's all right.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, thank you. All right. Today, the 15th of June, I'm saying goodbye to all that has been familiar for almost 5 years. I'm saying goodbye to this institution that I love, and to the many lifelong friends I have made. I'm very thankful to God for giving me the opportunity to work at ALA, and to you guys for giving me some of the best years of my life. I thank you all for making this past few years so special, but I have to give a special shout out to some people in particular. To Mr. Bradford, you referenced this email this afternoon. Thank you for reading the email I sent you. Thank you for reading the email I sent you on April 6th, 2010, asking for a second chance to work at ALA. Thank you for your guidance and your patience with me. To my 3 sets of advisory families, thank you for allowing me to be your crazy mom. I have to give a special shout out to Baton because he was a major source of entertainment for me this year. Okay. To all my students, past and present, thank you for not giving up on me. I hope my passion for mathematics was evident in every lesson we had together. To my Nigerian family, thank you for reminding me that being Nigerian isn't so bad, even if the world tries to bring us down. Thank you for keeping me relevant with the latest music and slangs. To Sodexo, thank you so much for the assurance that I didn't have to cook every week. Thank you so much. Thank you for your dedication. To security, thank you for keeping us safe. Even though I was often grumpy at having to open my boot twice daily and get my temperature taken. To Mr. Pan, thank you for providing me with entertainment. You know why. To my math team, thank you for listening to, and sometimes been accepting of my very crazy ideas. To Mr. Jampo, thank you so much for being my big brother. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for always being there for me. I'm eternally grateful. To Mr. Theo, thank you for your guidance and your friendship. You are incredibly smart and you really do inspire me. Mr. Kangami, thank you for always making me laugh. To Mr. Morake, thank you for trusting that I wouldn't poison you, since you often ate my snacks and food without asking my permission. Thank you. But on a very serious note, thank you for your friendship and for reading countless emails and letters for me to make sure that my grammar was accurate. To Ms. D and Mr. Cheney, thank you for making me an auntie to your very lovely daughters. Thank you for making me a part of your family. And I really look forward to going skiing with you guys sometime. To Mr. Peter, you are one of a kind. Yes. Thank you for always, literally always, having a smile on your face. I will miss your hugs. Okay. To Ms. Kraft, Mr. O, and Mr. Nolan, who is in here. I knew you were on the flight with me on August 19th, 2010, from Dulles Airport in Washington, D.C. Where was it? You was there, right? Okay. But I had no guys who you guys were since, I had no idea rather who you guys were since Ms. Reho didn't send pictures, but she just told me your names. Something told me that the guy in the Kangol hat was Mr. O. I just felt it in my spirit that this guy who was walking with so much swagger had to be the Nigerian. And I was right. Ms. Kraft, thank you for your dedication. Thank you for being the director of Alapella, because in my mind, I am Alapella's biggest fan, and I plan on having them at my wedding. You three have been constant friends, and I am very thankful that we're on this ride together, starting with watching Step Up 3D together at Monty, thanks to the gift cards that Mr. Bradford had given us when we first arrived. To my dear inner ring, Mr. Veda, Miss Ali, Mr. Ryan, and Miss Mklaba, thank you for being my family. Thank you for keeping me sane all these years, and I'm really glad that WhatsApp groups exist. Ms. Reho isn't here, but I have to thank her for sending me an email on August 6, 2010, when she asked me to contact Nolizwe, whom she thought I could share an apartment with. I know she could not have imagined how much that email would change my life. Room slice, Rumi of life, the Christina to my Meredith, my person. Thank you for being my day one homie, as I like to say. Lastly, I just want to thank God for constantly being by my side. I'm so glad that I held on to a verse in the Bible, Isaiah 42:16, which assured me that He would lead me in path that I did not know, and He would not forsake me. Lord, you've done just that for me the last 5 years. On August 5th, 2015, Mama's there. On August 5th, 2015, as I board my flight to start the next phase of my life, I will most likely cry this much again because you guys, this place, you guys have all been family to me. You have changed my life. And I hope that if you're ever in the Midwestern part of the United States, sometime within the next 4 years, that you would let me know so I can welcome you to my temporary home. Thank you again, ALA, for being a part of God's plan for my life. It's not goodbye. See you later.
I should just ask Rumi to follow. Please come to the front. So I think you all agree with me that Miss Nolizwe is one of the most cultured young ladies I think I've met. A real lady, and yet she has her convictions clearly in place, not easily moved. I think once she believes in something, she sticks to it. So she looks that gentle, but when it comes to convictions, she's really feminine and moving. I'd really like to appreciate Ms. Noli for the work she's done in the African Studies Department. 5 years, African Studies and History, and I think that the various evolutions of African Studies from Ms. Michelle Friedman, I don't know how many of you know Ms. Friedman, really crazy lady, but brilliant. To this point, I think that Noli has been sort of the constant thread right through. And today, saying farewell to Noli is really a pain as well. But it's great to know that she's moving on to the next level of her leadership journey. Now, when I mentioned basketball, I think I'm right. And Noli's contributions, I think, has been huge right through the academy. I would like to just welcome Noli to say a few words to us. Rumi.
Good afternoon, Academy. So as many of you know, I'm not one of many words. So I'm also more comfortable in my classroom with a smaller group of people than I am out here. Like Ms. O, I wrote down a few thoughts to share with you. So when I first came to ALA as part of the class of 2010, i.e. Ms. O, Ms. Kraft, Mr. Nolan, Mr. Veda, and Mr. O, and later Mr. Tate, I thought I would stay for 2 years, maybe 3, here I am 5 years later, and I cannot imagine leaving a minute earlier than this. It's been a period of real growth, both professional and personal, and it's a blessing from God that I've experienced it among some of the kindest, smartest, most hardworking, and most courageous people I know. So I'm going to take this opportunity to acknowledge some of the people who have helped to shape my experience. The founders, without whose vision we wouldn't be here. Thank you for being more than just the ogas at the very top, but also friends. Chris, especially, you are like a teacher in the sense that you see potential where an individual such as myself may not see it in herself. I hope that you and the rest of the ALA leadership continue to invest in the people who make up this institution. Mr. Jampo, for always creating a safe space for me to voice my opinion. Nowhere else on this campus could I speak as freely as I did in your office. Thank you for being a champion of my growth. To the Dream Team, the heart of ALA as far as I'm concerned, the African Studies Department, Mr. Kangami, Mr. Mushi, Mr. Asante, Mr. Sibia, Ms. Shoki, and Mr. Marake. Thank you especially for all the heated debates we had at our space. Some people think the African Studies tables are the messiest in the faculty space, but it's because there's a lot of creative thinking that happens there. I would also like to thank Michelle Friedman in absentia, because she modeled for me what it means to be fearless about pursuing your passions. I would also like to thank some people who, I'm not gonna name all of them, but there are many people who do a lot that goes unnoticed or unappreciated, but which adds so much functionality to our daily lives here at ALA. So for instance, Mr. Paul, Ms. Pride, Ms. Larato, Ms. Ndafuna, Ms. Haley, Mr. Van Niekerk, Mr. Penn, and Mr. Claude. Thank you. To my advisees, those in the room, as well as the two preceding generations, the Mhlabas of Nile House. Thank you for bearing with my eccentricities and allowing me to be a part of your ALA lives to varying degrees. And then to the students, I would like to reiterate something I've already shared with my Year 1 African Studies class. Just 3 points. Ms. D actually touched on the first one. Speak up for yourselves. You'd be surprised who's listening and in a position to respond. Second point, make the most of your time here. Nobody can live your lives for you, and don't just live in the hypothetical. The third point is take care of each other. You get out of relationships what you put into them. And that brings me to the next group of people I want to thank. So often at ALA, we talk about the importance of work-life balance. And ironically, for me, the life part has to do with many people from work. People who have become my family away from home. So to my very best of friends, thank you. The ones who drove in traffic every morning to pick me up and then drop me off at home when I injured my leg. The one who made me a great jazzy mix of Italian cover songs. The ones I know I can visit anywhere in the world, be it a canyon, Central Europe, or New England, and still feel completely at home with. The one who trusted me to babysit his newborn so he could go on date night with the missus. The one some of you call La Blanche. The one who corrects me when I speak in broken English. He Skyped in earlier. The one who jumped out of a plane with me. And finally, the one Ms. Rejo introduced me to 3 weeks before I came to SA, telling me, you two may want to live together. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Here at ALA, I've made friends for life. Friends I know will celebrate the highs with me, encourage me in the lows, and bail me out of trouble. Academy, lifelong engagement is a real thing, so please stay in touch. Thank you.
All right, Academy. So quickly, there are just a couple more people to just bring to the fore to speak, and Mr. O will take over. But before I sit down, I'd just like to mention, I think it would be remiss to not mention the fact that Ms. Noli is the one who was the arrowhead in the organization, the organizing of our first one and only ALA Winchester International Symposium event. That was a huge one. And I was quite surprised that for a calm, quiet person like that, she was able to put that together. And that's kudos to her as well. I just wanted to put it out there. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Academy. So I have the difficult task of encapsulating in just a few minutes 5+ years of dedication and commitment from some of my colleagues. And in many ways, this feels like maybe the last few EL comments that I'll have to write. But first, over the weekend, I was watching a video about the building of great cathedrals. And it just reminded me of how similar the parallels are to what we're trying to achieve here at the Academy. In many ways, what resonated with me most when watching that video was this idea that there are master builders, engineers, craftsmen, architects, that really expertly carve and craft each and every stone to lay a foundation for something that they may never actually see the product of. And so I'm glad to have opportunity to share a few words about a friend, about a mentor, and about a brother. So first, Ms. Kate Kraft. I had to go back in time and do some research because Ms. Kraft actually worked in so many different departments at ALA, which I'll speak to a little bit later. Ms. Kraft is undoubtedly one of the most organized and hardworking members of the African Studies team, EL team. She has tremendous capacity to produce copious amounts of work at a very high standard. I think that's a great way to be remembered, and that from Ms. Michelle Friedman, who was her manager 3 years ago. Let me just acknowledge a few of the things that I believe Ms. Kraft has engineered as part of her cathedral building work here at ALA. The Battle of the Mask, many of you don't know, but she was part of the team that brought that to ALA for our girl halls. The music showcase, the music studio, the music program, finding and sourcing instruments for all of us to practice and play on, and organizing that whole process. The Sexuality Discussion Group, SDG, again, amazing contribution. Similar readings, and those books that we all have now, between her and Ms. Robin, I think the brainchild there. The Politics and Governance course. I think Ms. Friedman was talking about the Year 2 module that Ms. Kraft and Mr. Nolan really created and kind of figured out as they went. And she took over and turned into, I think, a core pillar of the Year 2 African Studies offering. She has taught history, African Studies, first year and second year, writing and rhetoric. She even taught English as a second language for a while. She even went on to get her certificate in TOEFL, which apparently is one of the hardest things you can do in that area. She's taught EL, and she's taught self-leadership coaching. So pleased to say a fond farewell to a friend, Kate Kraft.
Thanks, Mr. O. Should I talk now?
Please.
Have you noticed that they go in order of seniority? These are the people who've been around a really long time. Longevity, right, I'm not that old. Good afternoon, Academy. So when I first came to ALA, I had just graduated from university, and I was 21 years old. And I remember meeting one of my first advisees and finding out that he was 19. I was so nervous that the students would realize how young I was, that I even bought a pair of fake glasses to wear that would make me look older. But I never actually wore them because Mr. Nolan made too much fun of me for even having bought them. I had pretty much no idea what I was doing. When Mr. Nolan and I arrived, the principal at the time didn't even know which department we were supposed to be in, which is maybe why I ended up in so many. ALA has grown a ton in the last 5 years, and so have I. For one, I'm not ashamed of my age anymore, maybe because I got a little older. In writing this speech, I thought I would think of it a bit like an ALA thesis, which I never actually did. And so I was reflecting on the many things that I've learned over the last 5 years at ALA. When I came to ALA, I was young and enthusiastic, and I didn't really know what I wanted to be doing or where I wanted to go. I just knew I wanted to travel the world and make a difference. I had some teaching experience, but not a lot, and I had never actually been in a choir before. Over the last 5 years, I've learned to be a teacher, I've learned to write curricula, I've learned to give feedback, to run hall meetings, to coach a Frisbee team. I've learned some adult things like how to pay rent and how to buy a car. I learned how to override an electric fence in the rain while dressed as knights on the way to a Halloween party. I've learned to not leave the car keys in the outside door of a car when you're driving. And I've also learned not to drive through downtown Johannesburg with the windows down blasting classical music because you will get robbed. On a more serious note, ALA has taught me so much about how to deal with cultures radically different from my own, how to talk about African food and music and history, but most importantly, I really learned not to assume things, and that leadership can be found in the big and in the small. I've grown a lot more confident. I'm told I now have real-world skills, and I've also really discovered my picks. So there's EL teacher learning a lot of EL here, right? And I discovered a new passion, which is a passion for education. So those are kind of the things I've learned, and I don't have very much time because Mr. Peters ticking down the clock of these short speeches, so I want to move on to the thank yous. Staffalty, you have been my friends and family for the last 5 years. In the early days of ALA, we would always talk about how can we find some non-ALA friends, and none of us ever really figured it out. And I think the reason is just because the people here are so interesting and so diverse and just so welcoming. We didn't never need anything else. My fondest memories here are really the unexpected conversations and the unexpected friendships that I've had with all of you over the years. A special shout out to my 3 departments, Writing and Rhetoric, African Studies, Entrepreneurial Leadership, for more acronyms than I could ever count, but also just for being like my true home when I was here. So year 2s, you've lived on campus for 2 years and you're really ready to go. I lived on campus for 3 years. And when I left, I was so lucky to find the amazing house that I did. So last year with Mr. Hancock, Mr. Diego, and Ms. Robin, this year adding Mr. Marake, Mr. Appel, and Mr. Jake, I hope that someday everyone here has the opportunity to live with such a talented, fun, and crazy group of people who are just always pushing me to challenge my assumptions. I'd also really like to thank Chris Bradford for hiring me back in 2010 and supporting me ever since, and also especially to Michael Jompo for acting as a mentor to me throughout these years. ALA students, whenever anyone asks me about ALA, when I go home, the first thing out of my mouth is about you guys. You guys are just so very cool. And I'm so lucky to have you in my life these last 5 years. Second years, we've had 2 amazing years. You guys are awesome, really, all of you. First years, especially those in my EL classes, thank you for learning entrepreneurial leadership with me. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for teaching me. You guys rock. And of course, my lovely advisory family for helping us through all the tough times, but also for reminding me that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Thanks for always entering every single advisory contest and taking that shot together, which is probably why we won so many of them. I also want to thank Alapella, past and present, for pushing me to always have fun, letting me push you to sing your hearts out. I always leave Alapella practice happier than when I went in. Shout out to the music showcase on Thursday. Hope to see all of you there, 7 p.m. right here on Thursday, to celebrate just how incredibly musically talented this community is. So I hope you all come to see that. A special thanks to Mr. Pete and to everyone who's ever come to an SDG discussion. for being willing to ask the tough questions, debate the crazy topics, and be there for each other, no matter what. I'm almost done. So when I visited Stanford Business School for the first time last summer in July, I was walking through the courtyard, and I came upon a pillar, and at the bottom of a pillar, a quote. This quote: "Dedicated to the things that haven't happened yet, and the people who are about to dream them up." I think that pillar would be really appropriate here at ALA. I know when I saw it this summer, it made me realize that I probably could be as at home there as I have been here. But I think if we were to put this pillar in the ALA courtyard, we would need a second pillar next to it. I'm an EL teacher, I love pillars. Right? I think the second pillar would have to say, "Dedicated to the things we did and the people who did them with us." I would like to dedicate this farewell speech to both pillars. To all of you who have made things happen over the years, and to all of the things this community and its members will dream up in the future. Thank you to everyone for all the time you took to make my life a fulfilling and complete one here. If you're ever in Northern California in the next 2 years, please look me up. I would love to see any of you. And you can always find me on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever the social media you dream up of the future will be. Thank you so much for an amazing 5 years.
All right, we're going to try something new. A comment really about a brother. It has been my privilege to work alongside this talented and bright mind in building what will be the cornerstone of this great cathedral. We had a mission 4 years ago, and that was to nurture emerging leaders of the highest values and launch them into their greatest potential. Mr. Veda has given the best of himself to that mission for the last 4 years. He leaves here, in my mind, as a master EL educator to lead the next leadership education innovations at the university level with ALU. I think Mr. Veda is on the line, and we'll try to have him share his farewell words. Mr. Veda, are you there? Boop, 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 boop.
All right, call on hold. All right, Veda. Are you there, Veda? Call muted, call on hold, call back. You are on. Huh. All right, you can go ahead. Oh, it's my phone. Sorry. All right, go again. Sort of. I've got to put on speaker. You can hear me. Try again.
Can everybody hear me?
Ah. Try.
Hello, hello.
Oh, we could plug in.
Yeah, am I on? Awesome. All right, hi everyone. I can't believe that for the last 5 years I thought this day would never come, but now here it is, and I certainly didn't think I'd be calling in from somewhere. But anyway, this process of closure as far back as December 2014, so much so now that Nana Ama's reaction has changed from, "Oh, you're seriously leaving," to now, this guy, why is he still here? So today is not really a sad day for me, to be completely honest. Not because I'm happy to be leaving ALA, but because I think it is the right time for me to part ways with ALA. I think change is good, and change happens at the right time, and I'm convinced now is the right time. Probably for all the 10 people who spoke before me. Like Santiago in The Alchemist will tell you, sometimes you just have to follow the science, and the science for me could not have been any stronger. I don't have videos, so I would have shown you why one of those signs is pretty strong because of where I am right now. But anyway, like Santiago, for whom the science took him on a journey across Africa, well, mostly North Africa, and then back to his home country, Spain, I'm also coming full circle back to my home country of Mauritius, a whole 10 years after I left. I'm super excited about my next adventure. For those of you who don't know, I'm moving on to the African Leadership University, where I'll be the head of EL and also going to be the director of student life. So exciting stuff. But anyway, I'm not going to be long. I just want to a few shout out to a few people. I have a lot of people to thank, but the following people have been kind of 5 pillars over the last 5 years of my life at ALA. Well, 5 years. That's how long Game of Thrones has been around. Anyway. So to start with, the ALA founders and 2 other stalwarts of ALA, Mr. Swanica, Mr. Bradford, thank you for dreaming big. Thank you for selling your dreams to people like myself, for involving me in your dream, and for giving me the license to frame it. I want to say thank you to Mr. Jampo for his fatherly brotherhood, to Mr. Tago for the profound wisdom and respect that he commands. Thank you both for your mentorship from a distance. A big shout out to my housemates for the last 5 years. You have made it fun. You have made it awesome. To Ngozi, to Hatim for Hello? So I was saying thank you to my housemates, Mr. Ngozi for his work ethic, Mr. El Tayeb for his wisdom, Miss Laura for all the travels and the life advice, to Mr. Peter for the endless supply of champagne, to Miss Kathleen for being the best listener I have ever met. I want to say a big thank you to my inner ring for all the travels, the emotional and moral support, for their genuine and unconditional friendship, the lovely African beauties Nolizu and Molade, the tall, hot Coloradian Ryan Finley, the incredibly loud and extremely awesome Miss Ali McKee, and a big shout out to my outer ring, my hog heads drinking buddy, Mr. Chini, and my traveling partner in Kigali, Miss Lisa. You have been some of the best friends I've ever had. The best effing team on the planet, the EL team, especially the inaugural one. I would not be a quarter of the man I am today without these boys. Thank you, Mr. Tate, for just being Mr. Tate. You're super cool. I want to be like you when I grow up. Thank you, Mr. Finley. Thank you, Mr. Finley, for everything you know and everything you do about leadership. You have been an inspirational brother, advisor, and friend. I will never forget the honeymoon suite we almost shared at Victoria Falls. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. O, Big Brother O. I don't even know how to thank you for teaching me emotional intelligence, for teaching me how to calm down both anger and sarcasm, though there's still a long way to go. You've been a great big brother and the best team leader I've ever had yet. Thank you for that. Last but not least, I want to say thank you to you guys, the students, especially my 4 generations of advisees. Yes, even you, Bakary. You are the one and only reason why I'm still in this. Well, not Bakary, the students, You are some of the smartest, well, not everyone, but most of you are some of the smartest young people I've ever met. And I'm humbled by how much I've learned from you. I often say I've learned more about being a good human being by being a teacher at ALA than by being a student for the previous 25 years of my life. So that, I hope, says just how special ALA and ALA students has been. Students, thank you for accepting me, the whole package, the good, the bad, the ugly. Thanks, guys. Thanks, ALA. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve this great vision. Thanks for the great memories, Honeywoods, Kimba, Fighting Peacocks, DSC, Refugee Camp Simulation, you name it. I look forward to coming back someday to direct a play at the ALA Amphitheater. That's it from me. I will see you guys soon, Wednesday actually, for Scarlet. Go Scarlet Crew.
Well, that was eventful. So for our last departure, this is for me to a mentor. So again, in this theme of sort of cathedral builders, this thought came to my mind. To Dr. Jofia Borsani, a mentor to me. From crisis to prevention to mastery, this is how I think of the legacy of Dr. Jofia Borsani. This is what she leaves behind. And I'm always quite humbled when I think that she actually has a PhD in this space, and I don't know that I give her enough credit for that. But Ms. Jofia, as we all know her, has masterfully engineered for the last 7 years the coaching practice, which has literally become a pillar at ALA. She created the self-leadership coaching course from the intersection of her coaching and psychology expertise. And I believe it is one of a kind in the world of coaching today. She has helped turn the tide of mental and emotional and even at times physical crisis here at ALA time and time again. Yet she has just as importantly liberated the aspiring minds to think more, to do more, and to lead more. Her commitment and devotion to the success of her advisees and each student that engages with her remarkable work has been exceptional, particularly since she does a lot of what she does part-time with us just 2 to 3 days a week. It is my esteemed pleasure to welcome Dr. Borsani to come and give her farewell speech to us.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Whose idea was this to leave me last? Mr. Peter said I had 3 minutes, and to talk about 7 years in 3 minutes without getting emotional especially is quite hard, so bear with me. I never wanted to be in a teaching institution. I didn't really want to work with teenagers. And so this was a bit of a surprise, but I want to take you back a little bit for you to understand what kind of a convergence life event ALA, coming across ALA was for me. This also goes out to Haitham, who's been pestering me to give my life story, which I just haven't had time for Haitham, so I'm just sort of cheating a little bit and combining a mini life story with my story with a farewell speech. So here goes. You might also want to know that I have parked my emotions before this exercise, or tried to. So hopefully that's helped a little. I was born in the so-called Second World, in Eastern Europe, behind the Iron Curtain, which always made me feel more close to the so-called Third World than the so-called First World. As a refugee for 12 years, I attended 10 different high schools in 8 different cities, in 5 different countries, in 3 different languages, ending in the UWC over the Atlantic in Wales. There, my closest friends were from Zimbabwe, Botswana, Kenya, and Zambia. The motto of Atlantic College was international understanding, which is why I chose to go there. Diversity has been a passion all my life. In school in Hungary, I learned that I was in a specialist music school in Hungary. I got talent scouted and I was told my only talent was music. In that school, I learned that talent is not quite the same thing as true passion. I was not to be a musician. In my first of 3 schools in Libya, of all places, the Pakistani New Tripoli College, was where I learned English and Arabic, which was compulsory. At the British Embassy School down the road, I learned poetry, French, and gardening, with the occasional gentle game of rounders for PE. At the American Oil Company School, a little further, I learned that I was nothing without sport, especially without some kind of involvement in baseball, basketball, American football, or track and field, or at least as a cheerleader, none of which I mastered. In Austrian school, I learned that I would be no one as a foreigner with an accent. And in German schools, I learned that one could be graded in sport and fail, but be saved by a good grade in religious education, even as an atheist. I also learned that as a refugee guest student in Germany, it didn't matter what I did, especially in my science classes where I was way behind. I was drawing portraits of my teachers and nobody ever came to say, "Why are you doing that? Don't you need some help?" I think one of the things I want to leave you with is that, like everybody is echoed, my colleagues and the teachers here are unique, they're exceptional. There's nobody as passionate, as caring, as devoted to your growth. You're surrounded by giants who kneel, and you should use it. So those childhood years in North Africa sparked my attachment to the continent, to the African continent. Later, my South African roommate, Atlantic College, became one of my closest friends. This epic, messy, and multicultural journey helped me to understand and work well with the needs and experiences of ALA students. Perhaps not surprisingly, my first husband was to be a Muslim Frenchman of Moroccan descent. Living with him made me brush up on my French and on a different kind of Arabic, and learn the cultural subtleties of living as a North African immigrant in France and England. Finally, my professional work as a clinical psychologist in London's East End led me to work in early intervention with severe mental illness, but with young people between 16 and 25, from places like Bangladesh, Somalia, Nigeria, Malta. This work took me to conferences in Northern Europe, where early intervention was practiced very effectively in high schools, with very innovative, non-stigmatizing programs developing social and emotional intelligence skills in schools. In South Africa, when I trained as a coach and as a facilitator with leadership skills-focused companies, I realized that the same skills were involved in leadership. So then I met Mr. Swanika, just as ALA was being opened, before ALA was even open. And all these experiences just fell into place, and something just, light bulb just went off in my head, and I thought, this is where I'm meant to be. So I want to thank Mr. Swanika and Mr. Bradford for reading my proposals and for allowing me to start these programs and build them, little knowing that we had absolutely no funds, no resources for this at all. And I want to thank them for their foresight, for their patience in allowing these programs to grow and show the impact that they can have, and for making this result happen that we have today. So the legacy that I think I leave, I'm very happy with. We started from very humble beginnings with no office space, no phones, zero resources. I was hot desking at Mr. Jampo's house in his lounge. From seeing about 25 students a year on an optional basis in year one, we increased the popularity of this program to about 65 to 70% people opting in by year 5, which overwhelmed us. So we had to innovate and move to a more group-based SLC work to be sustainable. Now we are able to work with 100% of ALA students via the amazing EL team who I've worked with this year. Thank you again. As SLC facilitators, and the program is firmly embedded as a core part of the self pillar in EL. Like Mr. O was saying, this is a unique program that no other high school in the world offers, and I'm eternally grateful for the EL team and Mr. Josh Adler for helping me to leave this legacy this year. I leave ALA feeling content and confident that my work here is done, and that I've handed it over to really competent hands, and there's a lasting legacy that we've built together. I would like to give a special shout out to colleagues over the years. Some of you might know them, some of you might not. Ms. Deepika Sharma, Ms. Shonal Anderson, Ms. Judy Koch, Shegun Olagunju, and Ms. Mandisa Zondo, who have particularly shared the coaching journey with me. It has been amazing and an educational journey to watch 4 different deans at work with their different styles of leadership over the years. I've had the pleasure of working with some of the most inspiring people from all over the continent and the globe. In wellness, Jessica Hastings, Jen Walter, Bonita, Kate Kraft, Lindsay Blankenberg, Ms. Kofo, Ms. Ndafuna, Dean Bradford, whose input into our wellness meetings I particularly enjoyed. In EL, Ryan Findley, Ali McKee, the entire current EL team. Also via the arts, Gavin, Tanya, Kate, Veda, Ali. I loved running the open mic nights at the African Freedom Station with Nandi, Hazim, Cloud9, doing life drawing seminars, flamenco dancing with Divine, coaching several students like Nora and Farida around their artwork. And of course, my special fellow Central Europeans, Mr. Matouche and Mr. Pete Rutkowski, who have been fantastic colleagues. I look forward to seeing you again soon. There are too many people from the past to mention everyone, but I'd like to give a shout out to Hatim, Samburu, David Skada and his wife, our Bollywood dance teacher and Arabic teacher, Ms. Hossein, Ms. Shami, Pen, Theo, Tinacho, Lauren Chemeli, Mopati, Demeke, Ms. Oshubodu, Ms. Plaba, Robin, Kathleen, Mr. Tago, Mr. Jampo, and not last, Mr. Van Niekerk, who helped me out when I forgot my keys quite often. And Mr. Otieno, a special shout out to Mr. Otieno, who was my co-advisory parent for the last 2 years, and to my advisees, especially this year, who I've really enjoyed having a great time with. My ex-coachees and my advisees are too many to mention, but I've learned as much from them as they've learned from me. Current and past students, thank you for your energy, your passion, your creativity. I am continually humbled by the trust and openness that you choose to show me and us as a team in EL. Your spirit will forever stay with me, and what I've learned from you will always inform my work in the future. Thank you very much.
And to close assembly, I'll call upon Eunice and David Jumpo to sing our song.
Is this, should I? Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. At ALA, I've learned how to fake it till I make it. And so, in as much as I'm really nervous, I'm going to try and hide that. So this is dedicated to the teachers who are leaving. You have inspired us so much. If I start tearing, I'm not really crying, it's just that I'm not wearing my glasses. So there's nothing emotional about this at all. And so Mr. Peter called us, David and I, to work on a song that most of you are familiar with. And if it gets to a point where it gets catchy, you can sing along. Enjoy. From the docks of poverty, we choose to rise, and from the depths of inequality, we choose to rise. And in us all, there's a heart that calls us to make a change. Started with a dream to change our Africa. From the dark of history, we see the light, and from the depths of inequality, we choose to rise. And in our soul, there's a heart that calls us to make a change. Started with a dream to change our Africa. Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, school for Africa. From the dark of our history, we see the light, and from the depths of inequality, we choose to rise, and in our soul there's a heart that calls us to make a change. It started with a dream to change our Africa. Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa. It's the power of one to change the world. It's the power of youth. It's the power of truth. And it's coming together and standing tall as one. Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa. John saying no to poverty, and Zara saying no to famine, and Shoki says no. She says no, no to inequality, and John is saying no to poverty, and Zara saying no to famine, and Shoki saying no. She says no, no to inequality. Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa, Africa, Shule Africa, Africa, a school for Africa. Thank you.
Rocking. Thank you, everybody, for being part of our assembly. Thank you to all the beautiful speeches. Thank you to everybody who's staying. I'll be with you next year. It's nice to have some friends left over. Farewell to those who are with us, and let's enjoy, everybody, let's enjoy the celebration part of the process now. Here's to a great week. See you during it.